Welcome back to Classic Chan and the third episode of Deux Scousers. For those that don't know what Deux Scousers is, and for those that are returning, here's a little recap. Last year we bought a townhouse in the south of France. The plan was simple: turn it into a short-term rental, launch it on platforms like Airbnb and start generating a stream of income. Within 6 months of viewing the property, we found ourselves in a narrow-streeted city in the south of France with a van full of IKEA furniture and the keys to an empty house. This is the story of the week we collected the keys and turned a house into a home. When we first arrived in the property, we were warmly welcomed to a bottle of champagne that the estate agent had left for us. We poured ourselves a glass and took a moment to walk around the house and smell the roses. It had been non-stop until this point. We finally had a moment to pause, digest it all, and reconnect with why we were doing what we were doing. Ooh, cheers. As we sat in that empty dining room on the first night, sharing a cheese board and a bottle of wine, I couldn't help but feel this deep sense of fulfillment. It finally felt like we had arrived. We had a blank canvas, a vision, and a lot of work to do. So the first thing we did was begin making a list of everything we needed. It was important to us that we didn't paint the same picture as everyone else. There's enough characterless short-term rentals already on the market, and we didn't want to become another one. Once we had finally acquired the essentials, we avoided the mainstream furnishing stores. We were looking for unique pieces with character and charm, and pieces that fit the mid-century minimalistic aesthetic we had in mind. We began searching for every second-hand and vintage store in the local area, mapping our routes to shop at as many as we possibly could. That became one of the most fun and memorable parts of this entire journey. We both knew this project was a huge risk, but we also agreed that no matter what happened, whether we failed or succeeded, we were going to gain things in so many more ways, gain in ways that we couldn't explain at the time. Those moments when you find the perfect piece, those moments I think are what we were searching for all along. Every day brought something new. You know that feeling you get when you go shopping in a supermarket in a foreign country? That's how this period of the journey felt. It all felt familiar, but as though I was seeing the world through a new lens. And it gave me a new lease of life. Even the mundane became magic. We were having a summer of our lives, and it was finally time to host our first guest. Ever since we started this journey, hosting has come so naturally to Hannah. She has an incredible ability to see the guest experience from different angles. And she's also got an incredible ability to see the guest experience from the beginning of their timeline. The experience doesn't start when they walk into the property. It begins the moment they see your listing online. There's a lot of very important details that need to be considered when setting up a short-term rental, especially in another country. Accessibility is incredibly important. The airport, train links, tourism, and a bunch of other amenities, it was finally time to put all of those things to the test. And our first guests were Hannah's parents. They'd only seen this property as an empty shell, and they'd also only visited the city during the colder months. It meant a lot to Hannah for her parents to enjoy the space the same way we did. She didn't want this to be a one-off visit, but a place where we could gather and create memories, to enjoy the sun, food, culture, and that little bit of magic we felt when we first arrived in the city.
This is your bed.
So it is around 8 p.m. We're just going for a little walk now. I'm gonna go get some food. Hannah's parents have arrived. I'll show you where we're at. Then we'll go get some food, recharge and go again. This project would never have been possible had it not been for friends and family who gave their time and energy. This space has become a reflection of everyone who mucked in. In the first couple of weeks, we were working from the moment we woke up to the moment we slept, and Hannah's parents joined us on that journey. Her dad Steve helped with a lot of the DIY. He helped me find the right tools, tidy up the shed, and organise it in a way that made sense. Her mum Jackie helped with the garden. It needed a touch up, so we spent a day in the garden centre. When she got back, she placed everything with care, repurposed things I would have thrown away, and somehow made it all feel like it belonged. She brought the garden to life, and in a way, it became the perfect metaphor for this entire journey. You plant a seed, you nurture it, and eventually, you begin to reap what you grow. On our last day, we attended a co-ownership meeting. It was a surreal experience, but amongst the chaos, we spotted our neighbour and arranged to meet up that same night. She told us about parts of the building we didn't know existed. She showed us where our letterbox was. She showed us where the communal courtyard was, where storage areas were, and told us what each key we had was for. In that moment, it felt like we were becoming a part of the community, a part of the ecosystem. There was a real sense of community here. In the square, people, families and friends would sit for hours, eating, drinking and talking. Across the road at the pizza shop, the family who owned it would meet with family and friends every night. This chance meeting with our next door neighbour, observing the square, watching the family gather outside the pizza shop every night, I noticed something. I realised that this project was never about the bricks or the business. As we sat around the table on the last night, reflecting on everything we'd done so far, I couldn't help but feel this deep sense of fulfillment, the kind you feel when you set a goal, bridge the gap, and realise you've reached your destination. This goal felt particularly special because I didn't do it alone. We did it as a team, as a family, and as a community.
I think I've said every single day, we need a ladder, we need a ladder, because everything's so high to get to. And we've got one.